What's happening, YouTube? Just wanted to quickly talk about the latest Pokemon TCG set being Lost Origins. Lost Origins is going to get released on the 9th of September 2022, of course, and it's a combination of the two Japanese sets, Dark Phantasma and Lost Abyss, which have already been released. At that point, we've got a fair idea of what we're expecting from Lost Origins. I've seen, you know, a lot of hype about the set. A lot of people have, you know, with the cards that have been released, and I guess the time of the year as well, people are, you know, really hyped for this set. And I just, you know, wanted to kind of share my opinion and give some idea of, at least share some ideas of as to, you know, if people should be picking up the set, if people should be investing in the set, picking up boxes, picking up sealed product, whatever it might be. I say this as someone who runs a store, got a pretty high eBay presence as well, so, you know, I've got a pretty good idea of how things are going, at least with both, you know, the modern side. I also do a lot of other stuff as well with graded cards and older WotC sets and so on, but that's obviously not going to be the focus of this video. So firstly, I think it's a good idea, as I'm sure a lot of you already would have done, is to kind of just take a look at the set itself. And see what the set looks like, and you can see here just some of the, you know, the main set cards, just a lot of the comments. I'm gonna pretty much skip through here because I don't want to sit here all day, because that's what I normally do, and I kind of not rant and rave, but I go into some depth about the different arts and stuff. Like, for example, I can already see a few things that I like, but I don't want to spend too much time on it, because I really want to kind of share a few points that I just think will be useful to consider for anyone who is interested in Lost Abyss, because in Lost Origins, because there's going to be plenty of you, myself included. I'm certainly going to be picking up some of the set when it comes out. I've already put in some words and orders with my distributor, sorry. So, you know, but beyond that, I just wanted to talk about a few things specifically. So I'm just going to quickly, you know, if there's any, I would recommend you kind of check this out. I think this is still provisional, so it's it still might likely change between now and the actual release. We've still not actually got the complete English set release, so we've had a few leaks from some cards, but I wanted a kind of fair review of what we were expecting to see. So if we kind of scroll through here and, you know, we get straight into the full arts, because I think that's the kind of stuff people are more interested in looking at. So my first kind of point is the fact that generally Sword and Shield, for me and for most people, has been a fantastic era, not just because of everything that happened with Pokemon over the last 2 years, but the cards themselves as well that entire time. I think if some of the Sword and Shield, you know, so at the beginning it was a little bit slow, but I think basically from battle styles onwards, the release of the alt arts, and just generally all the sets that came before, I think have been pretty good sets, pretty good hitters. And, you know, they're all, you know, overall good sets. Can't go wrong opening sealed product, and I've generally found a lot of interest with all of those sets on my store. I don't get as many sales from the original few sets. Battle Styles actually surprisingly does quite well in terms of single sales, but generally all of those sets, Battle Styles, Chilling Reign and onwards, you know, we know what the best ones are. The best ones are going to be your Evolving Skies and your Brilliant Stars, and then maybe a tier below that you've got things like, you know, Astral Radiance and Fusion Strike, and then maybe tier below is Chilling Reign. But generally the standard in Sword and Shield has been fantastic. I'd say it was better than Sun and Moon, better than X and Y in my opinion as well. I'm sure some people won't like to hear it, especially with that becoming an older and more nostalgic set as as time passes by. Evolutions for me was my favorite set from the XY era, but I genuinely prefer Evolving Skies over Evolutions. So the standard that has been set in Sword and Shield has been so high that to really achieve that stand out like Evolving Skies and Brilliant Stars have done, in my opinion, you really need to do something extra, something special. What Evolving Skies did was putting the dragons together with the evolutions. Those could have been two separate sets, and it's something I've spoken about before in my previous video, which was a review of Evolving Skies and Brilliant Stars. But that was they could have easily been two banging sets themselves, and they put them together as one. And Brilliant Stars had the Charizard, had the Arceus, it had the legendaries, the Palkias, Dialgas, you know, those two alt arts as well, and that's the reason why that set also stands out amongst the good level and the good standard of sets we have seen in Sword and Shield. So that's one thing kind of standing in the way of Lost Origins, is that like it can just easily fall into that just par for the core Sword and Shield set, and that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It means it's a very good thing if it's par for the course in Sword and Shield, because the entire era has been fantastic. So that's obviously one thing it's kind of fighting against. Another point I wanted to make was so the previous set released from here was sorry, give me a second. The previous set was Astral Radiance, and for me, I found Astral Radiance to be a fantastic set. Thought there were lots of good pulls in there, lots of good cards. It wasn't as big as some of the other sets, like Fusion Strike, which I thought was just ridiculous. I think it's 172 base, so roughly I think low 200s in terms of the total set at volume, and for me that's a much better amount. Some just, yeah, no, some popular cards, your Pikachu, Raichu, so, you know, there's a few others, you know, the decent amount of the trainers, the Cynthia trainer as well, for example. So, you know, overall it was a good set, but the problem that we saw with Astral Radiance is there was so much printed. You can pick up elite trainer boxes even now under MSRP. Still going to be like that, I'm sure, in a few months time as well. There's just so much of it, and I'm hoping that it's obviously been up and down. I'm sure they got a lot of sales from the Pokemon Company, got a lot of sales from Brilliant Stars, and then came Astral Radiance, and they were like, okay, well, we've put a few banger cards in here, but they overprinted it, and that's the reason why the set itself is still like hanging low. The prices are basically on the floor. I can't imagine that they really can't get lower. They can only get higher, but because there is so much product, that's going to take such a long time for people to kind of eke through and get through all of that product. Specifically stuff with Lost Origins as a set, I just wanted to point out, of course, some great chase cards in here. The main one's obviously going to be this the Giratina alt art. It's, you know, it's a fantastic looking card. I'm not going to argue in here and say, oh, this, that, and the other. Some other cards are better, some other cards are worse. When you open this set, this is the card you want, and I'm sure it's going to come out the door $200, and maybe a month later it's going to be around about 100. And it's a fantastic card, you can't deny that. The only issue I have with the chase cards in this set, as great as they are, also there's the Aerodactyl is another one that everyone really loves. You know, fantastic, like prehistoric art. It's just amazing. Nurukabe, just a great art to look at, but it's an Aerodactyl, and I just don't think people are that interested in Aerodactyl, just like people are not interested in Giratina. From the kind of three main legendaries in Pokemon, you know, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, I can't speak for everyone because I can only speak for myself, but I much prefer Dialga and Palkia. Giratina is cool. I wouldn't put it in the same tier as the first two. And for me, I see that across the board. Like, we've got a Giratina, subpar legendary. We've got an Aerodactyl. It's a cool Pokemon. It's a Gen 1 Pokemon. And the art, you know, the art is insanely good. But again, not the most popular Pokemon. Again, this is like a kind of subpar Gen 1 Pokemon. It's never in people's top 6, you know, people's Gen 1 teams. It's always a little bit out of that, and there's, you know, there'll be plenty of people who will sit there and say, oh, they really enjoy it, but for me, it's just another one where it's, the art's fantastic, the Pokemon's fantastic, but it's just not that popular. It's not that big of a name. It's not that big of a pull. Like this Rotom as well just looks fantastic. It kind of embodies a lot about what Rotom does, but it's just not that popular. It's a Rotom. I like Rotom because I'm a big Gen 4 fan, but there's a lot of Pokemon that there's a lot of people out there that are just not a big fan of it. So people will look at the Giratina, initially and say, wow, it's, you know, it's fantastic, it's really busy, there's a lot going on, but it's also Giratina. So if you had to choose between this and the Dialga or the Palkia, I would prefer to go for the Dialga or the Palkia. The Dialga, even though it's one of my favorite Pokemon, it's a little more plain, and maybe for some people this is, you know, if it doesn't border on being too busy and too much going on, there's a lot of people that would prefer that. But like the Palkia, for sure, for me, the Palkia is the better card and the one I'd be more interested in. You know, outside of the old tarts, we've got again decent Pokemon. I've mentioned before. I'm not so concerned with the rainbow rares. They're kind of there. They fill their place as being kind of the secret rares of the set, but I'm always more interested in the gold secret rares over the rainbow rares. So obviously we've got this Giratina V-Star, which is a gold secret rare, which also looks fantastic. Obviously it kind of matches the mask that Giratina wears. And then you've got a Colress, a Fantina full art. Those two full arts are pretty nice. I'm pretty sure that's Mars. No, is it Mars or is it the character from Arceus, Legend Arceus? I don't know, I'm not too sure. I think it's Mars. And that is, what's her name? Oh god, Volo, that's it. And also, oh, it's Arizu, yeah. Sorry about that. So no, that's not Mars. But these are characters from Legend Arceus, and I don't think necessarily they're that interesting. They're nice training full arts. It's just not the same. I don't think it's the same kind of hype that we've seen with full arts previously. I don't think we're ever going to kind of get that feeling again where full arts were just flying out the door, people were paying absurd prices. But the next kind of, or I guess the last kind of a really important topic to look at is the training gallery. And I think the training gallery is going to be the best thing about the set outside of the Giratina. We've got such amazing Pokemon here, and as I mentioned with the alt arts, the Pokemon art is interesting, even if the arts are fantastic. Here we've got both. Here we've got fantastic Pokemon. We've got Charizard, we've got Pikachu, we've got Snorlax, we've got Gengar, we've got Arcanine. Like, what more can you ask for realistically? But the only issue is it's the training gallery, which means they're going to be in the reverse slot, which means they're going to be easier to pull. Even the Pikachu and the Mew, unless Pokemon does something significant to kind of change the pull rate. What I've seen from Brilliant Stars, for example, and what I've seen from Astral Radiance is that they are reasonably easy to pull and reasonably easy to get from the product that I've opened, or just the singles and stuff that I've picked up. Because they are in the reverse slot, even though they're, it's going to be a set of 6, 12, 18, 20, it's supposed to be about 30, 31. I imagine it's going to be 30, just like the other two sets. They're easy to pull because they're in the reverse holo slot, which means it doesn't have that kind of that rarity that you get from the alt arts. And because they've prioritized the alt arts being a bit different and not the most popular Pokemon, whereas the trainer gallery ones are the popular Pokemons, your Pikachus and your Charizards, for example, they're going to be easier to pull, so they don't kind of have that scarcity attraction that people will have, like they have for the Umbreon VMAX, for the Moonbreon, for example. And I think that's the one thing, like holding back the trainer gallery as an idea generally. I mean, it's a good thing, and I think people should enjoy it, and I do enjoy it. Everyone enjoys getting extra pulls. It's like, when we were opening Shining Fates, I opened a lot of Shining Fates products, and it was because it was just so much fun to open, because with almost every pack you're getting at least a pull. If you're not getting a reverse holo pull, you're getting like a full art. And that's why I actually sat through and opened some Shining Fates products, and I almost completed the set just from doing that, and obviously bought the singles afterwards. But really enjoyed doing that, and I think the set, because of this training gallery, is going to be fantastic to open. But is it going to reach the heights of the other sets? Because the main pulls, the main attractions, the Pikachus and the Charizards are kind of comprised, but they're constrained to the training gallery and not to the alt arts and the full arts and cards like that, for example. It'd be interesting to see. I personally think that the set's going to do fantastically well, and that's not saying anything useful, and not that anyone hasn't said that before. I just don't think it will reach those heights of the other sets. The final point I kind of wanted to share, and I've mentioned a few things, and if you feel like different, feel free to just kind of comment and whenever you like, or want to contribute to any discussion in the comment section if you'd like to. The final point is this will be the 11th set of Sword and Shield, so the next set is the final set. We've got Pokemon Scarlet and Violet coming out in, I think, November 18th, so we'll have one more set in between, and that's going to be the last set of Sword and Shield. So this is going to be the set before that. Historically, the last set of the eras have been fantastic. We're talking Cosmic Eclipse, we're talking from XY, obviously, evolutions, black and white was legendary treasures, Hall of Legends, that kind of thing. Like, we're talking amazing sets. We're talking the best sets of the era, the best sets of those amongst those eras, those game cycles. So is this set just going to come out and then 2 weeks later we've got all this interest about, oh, we've got a 60 card trainer gallery for Sword and Shield 12, and we've got 10 different alt arts, and it's going to be the 10 most popular alt arts. There's going to be another Charizard or another an Arceus that's different from the box set, a Pikachu full art. I'm expecting it to be insane personally. I'm expecting there to be a lot of attention on this set, and the fact that Lost Origins is going to come out just before this final set, for me, I kind of see it as it's going to fall a little bit underneath and kind of settle below that, just because of the fact that the best set in the era will be coming out straight afterwards. And the problem with a lot of these Pokemon sets, because they're getting through 6 or 7 sets a year, 6 main sets and then some side sets, for example, like, there's not a lot of time to kind of not just financially recover in that sense, where you want to get ready and be able to afford the next sets, because I'm getting that from a lot of people. I'm privileged in a sense where I can kind of go to my distributor and get the product I want, and it's not an issue. If I want to open it, if I want to collect the set, it's fine, it's easy. It's not the reality for a lot of people. But on the other side of things, it's also people are interested in this new set, and then they hear about the set coming afterwards, and it really drives attention away from that. And as far as Pokemon are concerned, they want to sell more products and they want to send out more products, and that's all they're bothered about. But for the consumer, like myself and like yourself and many others, you're kind of getting thrown from one set to the other, and sometimes it would be nice to get a bit of time to kind of review and look at things and say, okay, where do I really want to focus my attention? What sets do I really want to collect? And focus on those sets that you are most interested in, rather than just moving on from one set to the next and struggling to collect them all. So those are kind of my points on why I think you should wait before you start investing and thinking about buying into Lost Origins. Be interesting to see if anyone feels differently in the comments. Be interesting just to have a little bit of discussion about that and see how people feel. But thanks for checking out the video, and if you can leave a like and subscribe, that would be great. And hope to hear from you soon.